Joe Biden has announced that his team has announced that he has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. We all know that he has been experiencing cognitive decline. In Jake Tapper's book, it was supposed to been reported that he potentially would have ended up in a wheelchair. I think we're witnessing evidence of the greatest deception in political history that the world has ever seen coming out of the Democratic Party and its media operatives and its supporters. You can't tell me that all of these people who had close personal contact and regular contact with Joe Biden did not know that he was mentally declining and did not know that there was no one that knew that he was in the condition that he was in medically. Jill Biden, his wife, did not notice that her husband was cognitively declining. This cancer that is so aggressive and has metastasized into the bones, she had no idea. The best medical doctors that this man had access to, no one noticed until now. I find it very hard to believe. The Democratic Party is the most deceptive threat to this country, and something has to be done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. Has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This video is going to be short, as I will do a follow-up video to this. But upon me learning this, it really has provoked a lot of questions. And of course, we pray for the family because this doesn't look good. It seems like this is a matter of time before he will cross over. I'm just being real. It's an aggressive, advanced form of cancer. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because we're going to go and uncover and really do some digging, because a cancer this aggressive doesn't just spring in and happen overnight. I believe, and this is my opinion, I believe that the Democratic Party and its elected officials and left-leaning media participated in the biggest, greatest deception that this country and the world has ever seen. Joe Biden was not fit to run for a second term. He was not fit to continue his first term. I believe that they wanted to deceive the American people into voting for him a second time. Then they would have cannibalized him, kicked him out, and installed Kamala Harris as president of the United States. They did not want her to run for president of the United States and win that election fair and square. They did not want her to run in a primary and be duly nominated and win in a general election the presidency. They wanted to just ride this man's back into a second term and then kick him out. Even though I do not agree with a lot of the politics of the Democratic Party, even though I do not agree with a lot of things that Joe Biden did in his presidency, the way they used this man and abused this man. Me, someone who is an advocate for healthcare and the elderly and the sick and disabled, I am disgusted at how they thought that they were going to use this man to steal the presidency of the United States for Kamala Harris and the wicked agenda that they wanted to push on the American people. The Democratic Party and the left-leaning media, they are the biggest traitors that this country has ever seen. So Jake Tapper can bring his book out and everybody's pretending as though they didn't know this, they didn't know that, and so forth and so on. They are a bunch of liars. You cannot believe anything. If it's a Democrat talking, then it's a Democrat lying. You cannot believe anything that falls out of these people's mouths. If a Democrat tell you that it's raining outside, you need to open up the door and walk out there yourself and feel the drops falling on your head in order to know that it is real. These people are the biggest deceivers and liars that this country has ever seen. This man, I believe, they knew he had cancer. They knew it. They knew that he was mentally declining. When they said that this cancer, this is a prostate cancer, is metastasized, which means it has traveled, it has moved, it has spread into the bones. Was that why he kept falling? You know, I mean, this is the greatest political deception, coup, fraud this country has ever seen. The Democratic Party it's the most corrupt political party that this country has ever seen. Ever. There's no way in the world Kamala Harris and other people that worked with Joe Biden did not notice that he was cognitively impaired. There's no way that the best medical doctors this man had access to as the president, that they were not doing exams and things like that on this man. They totally covered it up. So Biden was diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. And of course, you have people rolling out of the Democrat clown car, like Barack Obama saying on X, Michelle and I are thinking of the entire Biden family. Nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all of its forms than Joe. And I am certain he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. We pray for a fast and full recovery. He has a very aggressive form of cancer. From my understanding, what he has is a 30% survival rate. Yeah, it could be a miracle that he could survive this, but it doesn't look good. And they knew this. When they were trying to deceive the American people and ride his back into a second term just so they can kick him out. This man has served the Democratic Party for 40, 50 years, and they totally disgraced him and threw him off the campaign trail when he was no longer a useful tool for them. They were going to do that to him anyway had he won the second term, because they were going to put Kamala Harris in there so she can have the government paying for illegal immigrant transgender surgeries and shit like that. The Democratic Party, instead of them fighting for the American people, they twist things, they lie, they propagandize. They're crashing out like corrupt criminals for these illegal criminal gang bangers. They are trying to turn this country into a cesspool. Kamala Harris says, Doug and I are saddened to learn of President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis. Well, when did you know about this, Kamala? We are keeping him, Dr. Biden, and their entire family in our hearts and prayers during this time. Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and blah, blah, blah. Benny Johnson, a conservative blogger, says, this is the most dangerous cover-up in the history of the presidency. It really begs to show to the question which people were asking before this diagnosis came out. Who was really running this country? Was it Kamala Harris? Because when they asked her on The View, would she do anything differently, she said no, as if she was the one running it. Was she running it behind the scenes? Who was really running the country? This is the greatest scandal and political... people need to go to jail. Benny Johnson says, this is the most dangerous cover-up in the history of the presidency. Last summer, White House physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor swore to the American people that Joe Biden was completely fit for the presidency. No issues, nothing to see. Now we learn Biden has advanced prostate cancer, but wait, advanced prostate cancer takes 10 years to develop to the stage where Biden's diagnosis is. Prostate cancer is also easy to find. Simple blood tests or prostate exam will give you near 100% accurate results. He wasn't getting a yearly prostate exam. You're telling me that the best doctors and testing on earth did not, quote unquote, find Biden's cancer in all these years of testing? Was every medical report a lie? For how long? This is the worst cover-up in the history of the president. Absolute scandal. They knew, they lied, they hid it for power. People need to be held accountable for this evil. It's all for power. It's all for the Democrats. All of these illegals they're letting come up in here, it's just so they can have children on American soil. It's just so they can increase their census numbers to get more congressional seats. The Democrats and their grab for power is the most corrupt political apparatus this country has ever seen. I don't see how we as a country is going to be able to, somebody has to be held accountable. Donald Trump responded. He said, Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family and wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. Wow. Wow. The American people we're under attack from the Democratic Party and whatever dark money is fueling the Democratic Party. There was a scandal not too long ago where they were discovering very large sum donations were being donated on behalf of Democratic Party registered voters. And when they started investigating, there were people saying, I never donated that kind. I don't even have that kind of money to donate something like that. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't donate that kind of money. The most I've donated was like $5. I mean, what is going on here? And the Trump administration Justice Department would be no good, just not worth dust, if they don't look into all of this horrible corruption. They did everything they could to stop Trump from winning. They pull, and a lot of people say, well, I mean, he's a felon. It's like, come on, you don't bring charges against a former president for some crap like that. They changed the laws. They made things up just so they could go after him civilly, go after him criminally. And when all of that wasn't working, all of a sudden he's being shot at. They did everything they could to stop this guy from winning. They were determined. Some woman from 40 years ago claimed he assaulted her in a dressing room, and she actually got paid. Can you imagine your grandpa, somebody coming up saying 40 years ago, you groped me in a department store, and is suing them for millions of dollars? But you have these blue no matter who cult followers who really don't care what the Democratic Party does as long as they win. Well, it's not working. They're not winning. The more we pull back the curtain, the more we see that the Democratic Party has become the greatest deception in political history that this country has ever seen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comments below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman.